Hi everyone, welcome to the next session of Geotechnical Engineering 2, Shallow Foundations and Bearing Capacity. In last class we have discussed about the different types of foundations. We have discussed about the what is meant by footing, what is meant by foundation, what is meant by shallow foundation, what is meant by deep foundation, as well as we have discussed about the criteria for determination of bearing capacity. We have discussed about the various type of factors affecting bearing capacity and what is meant by bearing capacity, what are the different types of terminology to find the ultimate bearing capacity of the soil we have discussed, as well as we have seen about the assumptions of Terzaghi's theory for calculation of bearing capacity of the soil. In today's class we will try to derive the ultimate bearing capacity of the soil for the strip footing given by the Carl van Terzaghi. The assumptions already we have discussed. Again, I am one more time repeating the same assumptions briefly. And if you see here, the first assumption is that depth of foundation is less than or equal to the width of the foundation. That means df by b is less than or equal to 1, then it called as a shallow foundation. Terzaghi assumed that first assumption is depth of foundation is less than its width, and the second one is base of the footing is rough. That means the footing with respect to the soil coincides with the contact between the two elements, it will be rough. Soil above and bottom of the foundation has no shear strength. That means the shear strength of the soil above and bottom of the soil he didn't consider. Strength is only surcharge loading against the overturning load also he considered. Next, surcharge up to the base of the footing is considered. The surcharge weight up to the base of the footing, what it will be acting on the footing is considered. Load applied is vertical and non-eccentric. That means the load applied is vertical and non-eccentric. And the soil is homogeneous and isotropic. L by B ratio is infinite. That means length of the footing to the width of the footing, it is considered as the infinite. Okay, these are the different types of assumptions given by the Terzaghi. Next, I will explain the diagram, and if you see in this diagram, this is the example of strip footing or continuous footing taken by the Terzaghi. And if you see here, this is the ground surface, and from this ground surface they constructed one foundation below the ground, and from this ground surface up to certain depth they consider as the depth of the footing or depth of the foundation as BF. And if you see here, this is the width of the foundation. The width of the foundation here, if you see here from A to point B, what you are seeing here, this is the width of the foundation. The width of the foundation we are taking as a B, and where Q is the load carrying capacity of the soil applying on the footing, and the bottom of the footing, what is the soil available here, this is the type of soil, and the soil may be cohesive friction soil or cohesive soil or cohesionless soil. He first will check the cohesionless soil, how it will be the bearing capacity it will be. For cohesive friction soil, how it will be. For only cohesive soil, the ultimate bearing capacity, how it will be, we'll see. And again, if you see here, the soil what is available here, it is having a unit weight of the soil mass gamma. The soil having unit weight, that unit weight is represented by the gamma. And where Q is the load acting on the footing at the base of the footing. And here bottom also we are having the soil. And if you observe here in the soil, due to this application of the load, the soil will get failure into three types of zones. That is zone 1, zone 2, and this one is the zone 3. Due to application of the load, due to application of the surcharge load and the superstructure load, all type of loads will acting at the base of the foundation, and the soil what is available here, it will may get shear. The shear of the soil mass will may leads to three zones: elastic zone, radial shear zone, and passive zone. If you observe here, this is first one is the triangular portion. The triangular portion is in a elastic zone, and if you see here, this here we are representing the C1, and here also C1, where this C1 is the cohesion of the soil mass, the cohesion of the soil mass acting along this planes AC and the BC, and where PP is the passive earth resistance. Passive earth resistance is the wall, it's creating some pressure on the soil, that it will be, we are representing as PP. This PP and C is acting on the wall towards the upward direction. Whereas if you see, observe here in downward direction, the load carrying capacity Q and the ultimate load Q, and due to surcharge load also, the load will be acting in the downward direction. If you see here, below the base of the footing, the soil beds may be getting to failure in this triangular portion. And again, if you see here, there are two radial shear zones, and the third zone is the logarithmic spiral. That means in the spiral direction, the zone 3 is failuring in the soil mass. These are the three type of failures acting in the base of the footing. Terjagi considered for the calculation of ultimate bearing capacity of the soil mass. Again, A, B, C is the triangular portion or weight of the soil wedge. For this, first we have to calculate what are the different types of downward forces acting on the soil mass and what are the different types of upward forces acting on the soil mass. Suppose below the base of the footing, if you consider at any certain point of the soil distance, and in the soil element the upward forces are acting and the downward forces are acting. First we should have to calculate what are the different types of upward forces acting on the soil element and what are the different types of downward forces acting on the soil element. If you get the equilibrium, we may can calculate the upward forces equal downward forces, we may get the ultimate bearing capacity of the soil element. If you observe in this diagram, the upward forces acting on the soil mass is QQ, that means load acting on the footing, as well as weight of this triangular portion. What is footing available here? It will may create some pressure on the soil. The pressure also will create downward force. And again, if you see here in upward direction, due to cohesion of the soil mass as well as the passive resistance will create the upward pressure, upward resistance. This is the thing. Zone 1 is the elastic zone, zone 2 are the radial shear zones, and zone 3 are the logarithmic spirals. Okay, the three type of zones are acting in the soil mass. Terjagi also considered that the failure zones are not extending above the base of the ground surface. That means if you consider this is the footing, and from footing above this, the failure zone is not exceeding. It is up to the depth of this footing what you are keeping in the underground. Up to that zone only the failure surface is extending. Next we are having the shallow foundations and bearing capacity. We are having the point, if you observe here, the failure zones do not extend above the horizontal plane passing through the base of the foundation. The base of the foundation means, suppose if you consider here, this is your foundation and the failure plane acting in the foundation, it will may not exceeding above this horizontal plane. That is the point he considered. The failure zone do not extend above the horizontal plane passing through the base of the footing. And next, the failure occurs when the downward pressure exerted by the loads on the soil adjoining the inclined surface on the soil bed is equal to the upward soil forces. That means if you observe here in this diagram, due to application of the load on the footing as well as due to presence of cohesion and passive resistance will create the upward pressure, load will create the downward pressure. If you get the equation, that equilibrium equation, upward forces equal to downward forces, we can get the how much bearing capacity of the soil will be available below the footing. And next, if you see here, and the point is downward forces are due to the load, that is nothing but QU into B, and the weight of the soil edge 1/4 gamma B square into tan phi. If you observe in this diagram, the downward forces are due to this application of the load, where QU is the load acting on the footing and it is acting at a distance of B. That means the downward forces we are having QU into B. As well as in this triangular portion, the failure zone is in the triangular portion. This much depth also, this much area also, the downward forces is acting on the footing, acting on the soil mass. That these are the downward forces, QU into B and 1/4 into gamma B square into tan phi. I will explain the 1/4 gamma B square into tan phi how it is coming. And next, upward forces are the vertical components of the resultant passive pressure, that is nothing but PP, and the cohesion C acting along the inclined surface of the soil mass. Again, if you see here, the downward forces are QU into B, and QU is the load and B is the width of the foundation, and upward forces are nothing but passive earth resistance. These are the passive earth resistance, as well as cohesion is acting in this direction of the soil mass. These are the two upward forces. The downward force is equal to upward forces. If you will get the ultimate bearing capacity of the soil. For this, I will explain this by diagram. And again, if you see here, suppose this is your failure wedge of the triangular portion of the triangular wedge of the soil element. This is A, and this is B, and this is the point C. And I am making it into half of the distance. This is the width of the footing. The width of the footing here we are having B, and from the center portion to this much distance we are having B by 2, and from this center portion to this portion we are having distance of B by 2, where this is the height of the failure wedge, height of the triangular portion of the failure wedge, that is H, and this H is making an angle of inclination of failure plane as 5. The angle of inclination of failure plane as 5. From this, the upward forces in this triangular portion, the upward pressure is acting, the downward pressure is acting on the footing. The downward pressure acting on the footing. That means the downward pressures are equal to nothing but QU, load acting on the footing at a depth of base of the footing. That means QU into B, where QU is the load acting on the base of the footing, and B is the base of the footing or base of the foundation. As well as next we are having the one more downward force. That one more downward force is nothing but this area of the triangular wedge. Area of the triangular wedge. For this area, how we are calculating means, and if you see here, I am calculating tan phi equal to this adjacent side by opposite side. That means B by 2 divided by H. B by 2 divided by H. I know B by 2 value. I want to calculate the height of that triangular failure wedge. That is nothing but H equal to height of the triangular failure wedge. H equal to B by 2 into tan 5. H equal to B by 2 into tan 5. Next we are having the area of the triangle, area of this portion or area of this portion. Next I am calculating this entire area of the triangle. That entire area of the triangle is nothing but area equal to half into base into height. This is the formula for area of the failure plane wedge of this triangle. That means A equal to half into base. We are having base of the foundation as B into, as well as height we have calculated the height. That height equal nothing but B by 2 into tan 5. That means B by 2 into tan 5. From this area of the triangular wedge, A equal to 1 by 2 into B by 2. Nothing but we are having 1 by 4 into B square into tan 5. 1 by 4 into B square into tan 5. This is the area of the triangular wedge. From this formula, we know the density of the formula. That is nothing but density equal to weight by volume. Density equal to weight by value. Or where here weight is the amount of load acting on the soil mass due to application of the load, as well as due to application of the surcharge pressure, how much amount of force is acting on the soil element, and the unit weight of the soil mass, how much it is there per particular volume. Based on that, we will may get the weight of the soil mass. That means nothing but that weight W equal to density gamma into volume, where W weight of the force, that weight of force acting in the downward force, W equal to gamma into, where volume is nothing but area into height. Volume nothing but volume we are having a volume equal to area into height. That area into height, again how much we are having, area into height. For 1 meter width of the area, we are calculating the area of the height. From this we are getting the area of the triangle as 1 by 4 into gamma B square into tan 5. 1 by 4 into gamma B square into tan 5. This is the volume of the soil element per 1 meter width and the density of the soil mass as a gamma. This much amount of weight is acting towards downwards direction, acting on the soil element. This is the calculation of the weight of the triangular portion acting in the downward direction. Again, if you observe in this diagram, we are having the two upward forces. The two upward forces are nothing but passive earth resistance and this passive earth resistance. Already we have discussed passive earth resistance or passive pressure means the wall creating some pressure acting towards the soil mass. That is nothing but the passive pressure or passive resistance. The passive resistance acting in the upward direction. The passive resistance will be caused by the cohesion of the soil mass as well as unit weight of the soil mass as well as surcharge pressure of the soil mass. The passive pressure leads to maximum pressure is due to cohesion, unit weight of the soil mass as well as surcharge pressure. Next we are having the cohesion of the soil mass also in this both direction. That means cohesion means the contact of the molecular force of interaction of the individual particles what are available here. This also will create some vertical pressure. Due to this vertical pressure also the base of the footing will may have some shear strength, will may have some resistance to the downward forces. For this downward forces and upward forces, how we are calculating the ultimate bearing capacity, that we will discuss. And again, if you see here in this diagram, from this diagram, and this is the length of the failure R L, and this is also length of the failure R L. And if you take this same diagram, where here CA is the cohesion acting on the soil mass at a length of L, and this is the height of the soil mass H, and this is the point here, and this is the point A, and I am taking this point as B dash. I am taking this point as B dash, and it is making an angular failure plane as 5. From this, the sin phi value is nothing but we are having sin phi equal to sin phi. What is meant by sin phi? H divided by L. H divided by L. That means sin phi equal to H divided by L. Or nothing but from this we can calculate the length of that failure along this inclined portion. That inclined portion L equal to H divided by sin phi. H divided by sin phi. From this we can calculate the we can calculate the length of the soil element also. Sin phi equal to H divided by adjacent side. From this L equal to H divided by sin phi. From this also we can calculate this length of this portion and this length of the portion also. If you want to calculate the cos phi value, how we can calculate? We can calculate cos phi value equal to B by 2 divided by L. This adjacent divided by this hypotenuse. That means cos phi is nothing but B by 2 divided by L. From this I can calculate the length of the value L equal to B by 2 cos phi. Okay, length of the arc L equal to B by 2 cos phi in terms of cos terms, and if you want to calculate in terms of sin phi, that is nothing but L equal to H by sin phi. We can calculate this length of this inclined portion Li or L equal to B by 2 cos phi. Okay, next we will see. And if you see here, the upward forces are the vertical components of the resultant passive pressure, that is passive earth resistance PP, and the cohesion of the soil mass CC, and acting along the inclined surface. Next, if you see here, for equilibrium of the forces, that equilibrium portion is nothing but summation of the vertical upward forces equal to summation of the downward forces. And what are the different types of vertical forces and what are the different types of downward forces? For vertical forces, sigma B equal to 0, 1 by 4 into gamma B square into tan phi. This is nothing but area of the triangular portion. And QU into B. This QU into B already we have discussed. Suppose this is your foundation. In this foundation, there is amount of load acting on the footing, the amount of load acting on the footing, it will be QU, and QU it is acting at a width of B, that is the downward force QU into B. As well as due to application of the load, the triangular portion of the failure it will may act, and the triangular area of the wedge also, how much it is weight creating, that also we have calculated. That is equal to 2 pp, that means passive earth resistance. This side one passive resistance and this side one passive resistance. That is equal to 2 pp plus 2c. That means the cohesion of the soil mass also acting in this direction, the cohesion of the soil mass acting also in this direction, into Li, where this cohesion is acting, this inclined surface failure plane Li, and sin phi is this triangular portion of the side of the soil element. Again, if you want to see in this in your diagram, and this is the diagram for general bearing capacity theory of Terzaghi's bearing capacity equation. If you observe in this diagram, the downward force QU and acting along the base of the foundation, and this triangular portion. Again, if you observe here in this upward force, this is the passive resistance, and this is also passive resistance. Here this is the CA cohesion acting along this inclined surface AC, and here also C cohesion is acting along this inclined surface BC. Okay, from this we have to calculate the upward forces equal to downward forces. That upward forces already we have calculated, downward force already calculated, and downward forces are 2 pp into cohesion along two inclined surface, and the cohesion is acting along this much length, and this L length of the inclined surface that we don't know. And again, if you see here, where Li length of the inclined surface, this Li length of the inclined surface is nothing but B by 2 cos phi. That means this is the width of the foundation, and B by 2, and this is the side of the cos phi value. From this, how we can calculate length of the inclined surface? Length of the inclined surface Li equal to B by 2 cos phi. B by 2 cos phi. B by 2 divided by cos phi you can write. Otherwise, B by 2 cos phi also, the failure plane cos phi also you may can write. So therefore, from this, the upward force is equal to downward force. That is number QU into B equal to 2 pp plus BC into tan phi minus 1 by 4 into gamma B square. And again, if you see here, B by 2 into cos phi. What I am doing here means, just instead of Li, I am substituting the B by 2 cos phi. How it will get mean? If you observe here, 2 into C dash into where Li is nothing but B by 2 cos phi. That means B by Li equal to B by 2 cos phi into sin phi. 2 and 2 will may both get cancelled, and next we are having the B C dash into sin phi divided by cos phi. That is nothing but tan phi. The tan phi value they have written here. That is nothing but BC tan phi, and that means therefore QU into B equal to 2 pp is the upward force, and BC tan phi is the length of the cohesion acting along the length of the failure plane. That means this is the cohesion of the soil mass. That cohesion of the soil mass is acting along this length surface and along this length surface. That is nothing but BC into tan phi minus 1 by 4 into gamma B square into tan phi. That is the weight of the triangular portion. I brought this to that left side, and we'll get the minus 1 by 4 into gamma B square into tan phi. Again, if you see here, the resultant passive pressure PP on the surface CB and CA constitute three components, that is PP gamma, okay, PP gamma, PPC and PPQ, where that passive pressure it will be equal to combination of the PP gamma, combination of the PPC plus combination of the PP gamma, where PP gamma is the passive pressure due to the unit weight of the soil mass, and PPC is the passive pressure due to the cohesion of the soil mass, and PPQ is the passive pressure due to the surcharge weight of the soil mass. All these components together will act upward force, upward force for the footing acting along the upward direction. This is the how passive pressure is acting on the soil mass. Okay. Next. Next, if you see here, what we are doing means we are doing that means QU into B, we kept it as same, and 2 we both split into 3 times. That means passive pressure, the combination of all these, we are having the passive pressure. The passive pressure we are having due to the unit weight of the soil mass PP gamma, unit weight of the cohesion PPC, unit weight of the surcharge. The unit weight of surcharge, pressure and cohesion will acting on both sides of the triangular portion. Suppose this is our triangular portion. In this triangular portion, the passive pressure is acting in this direction, as well as the passive pressure also acting in this direction. Hence why here also gamma C and surcharge pressure is there. Here also gamma C and surcharge pressure is there. Hence why we are multiplying with the two sides. Okay. Next, let's BC tan phi minus 1/4 gamma B square into tan phi. This is the weight of the triangular portion, and this is the cohesion acting along the inclined failure surface, that is CA into BC of the soil mass. And again, if you see here, Tarjagi, what he considered means, instead of this direct passive pressure due to unit weight of the soil mass, unit weight of the cohesion and unit weight of the surcharge, he considered some formulas, he assumed some values. Based on that assumed value,